My name is Diana, and I'm 32 years old. My husband, Tom, who is a year older than me, was kind at first, but over time, he started acting more arrogant.
We're moving in with my parents next week, just so you know.
Wait a minute, you can't just decide that without talking to me.
Shut up. I'm the CEO's son, the next CEO. You got a problem with that? Then let's get divorced.
Lately, this is how it goes every time I say something. At Tom's request, I became a stay-at-home wife, so in the end, I agreed to move in with his parents. Luckily, his parents, Susan and Jack, were kind people and took a real liking to me. Both of my parents have passed away. For someone like me, they treated me warmly, almost like real parents. I also devoted myself to them as their daughter-in-law. Susan and Jack would sometimes put Tom in his place when he acted arrogantly.
Enough already.
A marriage is a partnership, and just because you're the CEO's son doesn't mean you're more important.
Okay, I get it.
Tom would quiet down a bit when his parents scolded him, knowing he couldn't win against them. Soon after, I found out I was pregnant. Both Tom and his parents were thrilled with the news. For a while, Tom was considerate and even helped with housework. It felt like the kind and caring Tom from before had come back, and I was happy. But that all changed once we found out the baby's gender. Today, the doctor told me we're having a girl. I shared the news with Tom when he got home from work, but his reaction was visibly disappointed.
Tesk, a girl.
What's with that attitude? As long as the baby is healthy, who cares if it's a boy or a girl?
Shut up. I'm going to be the next CEO. I need an heir. You wouldn't understand that, being a woman and all.
With that, Tom quickly went upstairs.
Hey, Tom, I'm so sorry. Diana, don't worry about the whole heir thing. It's not like boys automatically inherit, and girls don't these days. Jack and I will be thrilled as long as the baby is born healthy, no matter what the gender is.
Thank you, Susan. I'm sure once the baby is born, Tom will come around and adore her. But after that, Tom gradually stopped being as kind or considerate. In fact, he started spending more and more time away from home. Sometimes, he wouldn't come home for days.
The future CEO is a busy man.
Whenever I or his parents asked him, he would just dodge the question.
What exactly are you so busy with? Diana is pregnant. You need to be there for her.
Got it. I'm sorry.
Tom would apologize when Susan and Jack scolded him, but nothing ever changed. Time passed, and soon it was time for me to give birth. I wanted Tom, the father of my child, to be by my side. But Tom said he was busy and didn't show up, even at such an important moment. Instead, Susan arranged for the ambulance and stayed with me the whole time. I gave birth to a healthy baby girl.
Diana, thank you, really, thank you. She's such a beautiful baby.
Susan was overjoyed, with tears in her eyes. Even Jack, who was supposed to be busy, rushed to the hospital. Both of them were absolutely smitten with their first grandchild. However, even after I informed Tom of the birth, he only sent a congratulatory message via email. He didn't visit me at the hospital, not even once during my stay.
What's Tom doing, leaving Diana and his newborn daughter like this?
I'm so sorry, Diana.
Please, don't worry about it. I'm sure he has something important to take care of. I tried to calm down the angry Jack and comfort the apologetic Susan. Even when it was time for me to be discharged, Tom never showed up. Right after I got discharged from the hospital, Susan and I named the baby Emily and sent Tom a message.
Sounds fine.
But that was all I got in response from him. Tom was still rarely home. When I asked if he could come with me to file the birth certificate, all he said was that he was too busy. Susan, could you come with me to file the birth certificate?
Of course, I'd be happy to.
Susan drove us to the state office. After we got out of the car, she offered to carry Emily. Thank you for everything, truly.
Don't worry about it. You just gave birth. You're going through a lot. Let me help out, especially in place of Tom.
After we filed for the birth certificate and were about to leave, Susan suddenly stopped me.
Diana, is that?
When I followed her gaze, I couldn't believe my eyes. There, unmistakably, was my husband Tom. What on earth is he doing here? Tom was with a young blonde woman, and they were at the counter receiving a maternity health record. Tom had his arm around her shoulder, and with a big smile, he told the clerk,
Our first child is due next month.
The woman, rubbing her belly, smiled up at Tom and said,
I can't wait. You're going to be such a great dad.
My mind went completely blank. Even though I was in shock, part of me was analyzing the situation. The reason Tom was frequently away from home and indifferent to me and Emily was because he had been cheating and had fathered a secret child.
Diana, I don't even know how to apologize.
Susan, realizing the same thing I had, spoke to me in a pained voice. Susan and Jack had been so good to me. I didn't want to lose them. But I knew I couldn't stay married to Tom any longer. I'm sorry, Susan. I said that as I went to get the divorce papers and immediately filled out my part. After that, I walked over to Tom and the woman, holding hands, and tapped him on the shoulder. Tom turned around, his face pale.
Diana, what are you doing here?
I came to file our daughter's birth certificate. But more importantly, who is this woman? I heard her say she's expecting your child next month. What's going on? I saw you getting the maternity record. You owe me an explanation.
No, this isn't what it looks like.
Not what it looks like. What exactly isn't it? The woman, who had linked her arm with Tom's, answered confidently.
So, you're Diana, you've guessed it right. I'm Victoria, and I'm pregnant with Tom's child. He loves me so much more than you.
Is that true? I can't believe this. While I was pregnant and giving birth. I glared at them, but Tom, emboldened by Victoria's attitude, snapped back.
Yeah, so what? You got a problem with that. I can't be satisfied with an old hag like you. It's a man's instinct to be attracted to younger women. And it's also in our nature to spread our seed and have as many kids as possible.
You think you can excuse everything by calling it instinct? I can't live with someone who acts like an animal. Sign the divorce papers.
Yeah, fine by me. Victoria's way younger and prettier. Plus she's having a boy. I'll gladly divorce an old hag like you who can only have girls. My parents will be happy about it too.
You're disgusting.
Say what you want. As the future CEO, I sometimes have to make ruthless decisions.
With that, Tom signed the divorce papers right there and tossed them at me.
But what are you going to do now? You've just given birth, and here you are, abandoned by the future CEO, becoming a single mother.
Victoria, standing next to Tom, wore a smug look.
Looks like I'm going to be the CEO's wife now. Diana, it's pathetic how you've been tossed aside. We'll be twice as happy, even for your share, you loser.
You won't be the CEO.
Susan appeared, holding Emily, cutting through their mocking remarks.
Mom, wait, what do you mean? I'm not going to be the CEO. That's impossible. That can't be true.
It's true. I've just told Jack everything through email, and he's furious. Jack has always been a devoted husband, and he values trust and integrity above all else. Knowing that his son was cheating on his pregnant wife, and even fathered a child with another woman, he's decided you're not fit to be the next CEO. You've been removed as a candidate.
But if you do that, the company will go under.
Don't get so full of yourself. There was already talk of removing you from the running. Looking at how you work, it's clear you were never cut out to be the next CEO.
That's not true. Why didn't you tell me?
We did talk to you about it. Jack and I both warned you that being the next CEO wasn't a guarantee, especially with how you've been acting, but you didn't listen. You shrugged it off, saying, "It's just a threat, right? I'm your only son. Who else would they choose?" You remember that, don't you? Well, this whole ordeal made us realize that a hereditary system is outdated. The next CEO will be chosen from the employees. There are plenty who are more competent than you, and both Jack and I are cutting ties with you. Don't even think about coming back home. You, Victoria, and your unborn child, just leave and go somewhere else.
Why? Why am I being treated like this just for changing wives? I'm giving you a grandchild. Diana's kid is a girl, but Victoria is having a boy. He's the heir. That's why you should accept this.
A child's gender, that's irrelevant. The child is innocent, but I will never recognize him as my grandchild, and I won't leave anything for him to inherit.
Wait, what does that mean? Does that mean I won't be the CEO's wife?
Victoria grabbed Tom in a panic, shaking him, but Susan glared at her coldly.
I would never want a vulgar woman like you as my daughter-in-law, not even in death.
Intimidated by Susan's glare, Victoria fell silent, looking scared.
All right, fine. If I get back together with Diana, everything will go back to normal, right? Diana, I realize I was wrong. I'll dump Victoria. Let's start over and raise our daughter together. So don't file those divorce papers, okay?
Tom reached for the divorce papers, trying to take them from me. Too late. I've already filed them. While Tom and Susan had been arguing, I had already submitted the papers.
What? You just filed them. It's not too late. You can still cancel it. Go cancel it right now.
No, why would I? I don't need you anymore, not as a husband or as a father.
Think about it. Raising a child on your own is hard. If we get back together, you could still be the CEO's wife.
You said Victoria, young and beautiful, was better, didn't you?
That was a mistake. It's you I love, Diana. Only you.
Tom desperately pleaded, but it was obvious he was only trying to hold on to his position as the next CEO.
What? Are you kidding me? You told me over and over how much more you loved me than Diana. Now you're just gonna turn around and beg your ex-wife to take you back? Have you no shame?
Shut up. It's your fault for dragging me to the office to get the maternity record. This whole mess is because of you.
What? Are you seriously blaming me now? You're the married one here. You're the one at fault.
You seduced me. You used a man's instincts against him. This isn't my fault.
There you go again, using instincts as an excuse. Like Diana said, you're worse than an animal. And I only went after you because you said you'd be the next CEO. Now you're telling me everything's different. And now you think you can just dump me and our baby. I won't let you get away with it. You're taking responsibility for this. I'm not canceling the divorce, no matter what.
The two of them continued shouting at each other, loud enough that people at the office started watching. By this point, Tom and Victoria no longer cared about being seen. Susan and I turned our backs on the two of them and headed to the car. Once I got inside, a wave of exhaustion washed over me. Suddenly, sadness hit, and tears started falling. Tom had betrayed me. The man I thought I knew, the man I had trusted, was really someone like that.
I'm so sorry, Diana, I truly am. It's my fault for raising Tom this way. Where did I go wrong? I don't even know how to apologize.
It's not your fault, Susan. In fact, I'm really grateful for everything you said to him. Just then, Emily started fussing. It seemed like her diaper was wet. As I changed her diaper, I realized now wasn't the time to be crying. The one who really has it the hardest is Emily. I need to be strong as her mother. When we got home, Jack also apologized to me, repeatedly expressing his regret for Tom's actions. Please, there's no need for that. If anything, I should apologize. Tom was supposed to be your company's heir, and now you've even gone so far as to remove him from being the next CEO because of me.
Don't worry about that. If Tom had become CEO, it would have brought the company down. He'll be paying you alimony and child support in full. And, if I may, I have something to ask you. Would you consider becoming our daughter? Of course, we'll help as much as we can with raising Emily.
I don't know what to say. Are you sure?
Absolutely. To be honest, even without all this with Tom, I've always wished I had a daughter like you. The thought of becoming distant just because of him is too painful.
Thank you. I'm truly grateful for being able to remain part of your family. As I began to cry again, Susan gently hugged me. I officially became the adopted daughter of Susan and Jack. I also filed for alimony from both Tom and Victoria, and made Tom pay child support. With Susan and Jack's help, both the alimony and child support were paid in full.
Why do I have to pay alimony?
Since Victoria refused to pay, Tom ended up covering both their shares from his savings. As a result, he ended up in debt. Afterward, Tom was fired from the company he had been working for, thanks to Jack's connections. It wasn't just because of the affair and the secret child. Victoria wasn't working, and Tom had been supporting her. It turned out he had been embezzling money from the company to support his mistress, Victoria. When Jack found out about this, he was furious. He immediately fired Tom and demanded repayment for the embezzled funds.
I thought the company's money was my money as the CEO's son.
That's what Tom claimed, but there was no way such an excuse would ever hold up. In the end, Tom's debt grew even larger, and now he was both jobless and deep in debt.
I'm not sticking around with a husband who's not only jobless, but a failure as the future CEO.
Victoria reportedly yelled at him, but it was her own fault for believing Tom when he said, "The company's money is mine," and living off the embezzled funds. fully aware of what he was doing.
Why should I have to work? Making a pregnant woman work is the worst.
When Tom begged her to work to help pay off the debt, she apparently became furious. I also have to work for Emily's sake. I started working part-time at Jack's company. While I was working, Susan took care of Emily for me. My hard work was recognized, and I was later promoted to a full-time position. I remarried a kind man I met there, who was a former colleague of Tom's. My new husband, Chris, accepted everything about my situation. He loves Emily as if she were his own daughter. Susan and Jack were also happy with Chris's excellent work and officially welcomed him into the family. Afterward, we all moved together and bought a two-family home. Though it's a somewhat complicated family, we're all very happy. 4 years had passed since I divorced Tom. As I watched Emily playing in the yard, a man with a haggard face suddenly spoke to her.
Hello there, little girl. Wow, you've grown. You look just like your dad. He's wanted to see you for so long.
Emily stood up, frightened, and ran toward me. The man staggered as he entered the yard without permission. Who are you? What do you want?
What do I want? Come on, that's harsh. I'm your ex-husband and that little girl's father.
Though his hair was messy and he looked thin and worn, there was no mistaking it. It was Tom.
I've wanted to see you, Diana. I couldn't get in touch with my parents, and when I found out you moved, I searched everywhere, asking friends and relatives. I finally found you too. It must have been tough being a single mom, but not a day has gone by where I didn't think about you both. You've missed your dad too, haven't you? Come here, let me hug you.
Emily hid behind me, terrified. It was no surprise. She hadn't seen her father since she was a baby, and there was no way she remembered him. She looked at Tom like he was a complete stranger.
Do you need something from my daughter?
I heard a voice behind me and turned around to see my current husband, Chris, standing there.
Daddy.
Emily ran to Chris and hugged him tightly.
Hey, I'm the dad here. Wait, you're...
Hi, long time no see, Tom.
Tom was stunned to see Chris, his former colleague.
What the hell are you doing here?
Oh, I forgot to mention, I married Diana. It was 3 years after you two got divorced.
What? You went ahead and got remarried without me? This is a betrayal.
The man who betrayed me says that whether I remarry or not after the divorce is none of your business.
Shut up. Don't get cocky.
Cocky. Alright, Tom, you haven't changed a bit. You always used your status as the CEO's son to look down on others. And even though you were set to be the next CEO, you hardly work. You always said, I don't need to work hard. I'm going to be the next CEO anyway. Sometimes you even pushed work onto others and took credit for it.
So what? Now that I'm gone, the company's probably falling apart. I heard my dad retired. The company's probably bankrupt, isn't it?
Not at all. Far from it. The company is thriving, thanks to Chris's leadership.
What? Because of him?
Yes, because Chris is the CEO now.
What? How did you become CEO?
After you got fired, Chris's talent was recognized, and he quickly climbed the ranks. Since he married me, who had been adopted by Susan and Jack retired to receive care, Chris took over as CEO. And since I helped take care of Jack, I was entrusted with a key position at the company as well. Now, we're living a comfortable life with both of us working.
No way. So you're the CEO's wife now? That's not fair. Why do you get to be so happy all the time?
What? Aren't you happy too? I heard you remarried Victoria. Don't you have the wife you love and the son you always wanted? Though I could tell from his expression that Tom wasn't happy, I asked him anyway. He began speaking slowly, almost reluctantly.
After that, I found a job to pay off my massive debts and support Victoria and the child. At first, I survived on temporary day labor. The unfamiliar physical labor was tough, but I worked from morning until night. Even so, Victoria, unlike you, didn't help with anything around the house. I'd come home exhausted and still have to do all the housework. No dinner, no bath, not even a word of appreciation. Even if she does prepare meals, it's only occasionally that she gets ready to microwave or pre-made ones. And on the rare occasion she did cook, it was terrible, and if I mentioned it, she'd blow up at me. What's more, Victoria had a spending problem. No matter how hard I work, it all just goes to her designer items and entertainment. We couldn't save a penny. If I complained, she'd always say, "Being a stay-at-home wife is hard, you know." When I once compared her to you, she went into a fit of rage. Whenever I asked her to work, even part-time, she'd snap back. "You promised me I'd live a luxurious life as the CEO's wife after you left Diana. I'm holding you to that. It's your fault for being stuck in some low-paying job instead of being the CEO." She'd even say, "If you'd become CEO, I could have bragged to my friends. But I guess you're just useless without your parents." I couldn't argue with that. Our relationship became completely cold after that. But even in that miserable life, the one thing that kept me going was our son, who was about to turn 3. He called me Daddy, and he was the only thing that made it all worth it. I worked late most days and only got to see him sleeping, but knowing I was doing it for him made the hard labor and Victoria's treatment bearable. But that all changed when I found out Victoria was cheating on me. It was the resemblance. The man she was seeing looked just like the boy, who I'd always thought didn't resemble me at all. Deep down, I had suspected for a long time, but I didn't want to face it. I couldn't take the doubt any longer, so I did a DNA test. And just like I feared, the boy wasn't mine.
Soon after discovering this, Tom confronted Victoria about it.
"You've been cheating on me, haven't you?"
What are you talking about? How dare you accuse your own wife?
"It's not just that. The boy isn't mine, is he?"
What are you saying? Of course he's your son.
I wanted to believe that too, but I had a DNA test done to clear my doubts. It came back with a 0% probability of me being his father.
What? You went behind my back and did a test? That's disgusting.
Disgusting? Who's the disgusting one here? Were you seeing someone else back then?
Fine, I'll admit it. Yes, there was another guy way younger and better looking than you, but he was unemployed at the time, so I couldn't marry him. I didn't even know whose baby it was, so I told myself it was yours, the future CEO's. But honestly, I would have been better off marrying him.
What? Because of you, I had to divorce Diana, and I lost my shot at being CEO. You've ruined my life, you tramp.
Oh, come on. You're the one who said it's a man's instinct to spread his seed and have as many kids as possible. You can't complain when another guy acted on that instinct.
Don't twist my words.
The two of them argued nonstop until their son woke up and stopped the fight.
I couldn't look my son in the eye anymore after that. That's when I started thinking about the daughter I hadn't seen in so long. The moment I saw her, I knew she looked just like me, unlike my son. I'd been deceived all this time. I'm divorcing Victoria immediately. So please forgive me. I want to be a family again with you and our daughter. I've made mistakes, but I want to make it right. Let's finally live happily together as the family we were meant to be.
No, thank you. We're perfectly happy now. Don't think there's any place for you in our lives anymore. Chris is an amazing father who treats our daughter like his own.
But you aren't related by blood. I'm her real father. She should be living with her true dad. Right, sweetie? You'd rather be with your real dad, wouldn't you?
Emily shook her head and clung to Chris.
I don't know you. This is my daddy. I love him.
No, you've been misled. He's just a fake. I'm your real dad.
You're the fake. Go away, fake.
Hearing his own words thrown back at him, Tom was left stunned. You've never held Emily or even met her once. So don't act like her father now. Her reaction is completely natural. By the way, do you even know our daughter's name?
Her name?
Yes, her name. I told you when we decided on it, didn't I? I had noticed that Tom hadn't used our daughter's name once during the entire conversation. When we first chose her name, I had sent him a message, and his reply was indifferent. That was the only time he had a chance to know her name. Most likely, he didn't care at all back then, probably because he was with Victoria at the time. As expected, Tom's eyes began to dart around nervously.
Well, what was it again? Nancy?
Wrong. A man who doesn't even know his daughter's name can't call himself a father. And for the record, I would never get back together with you. Besides, I'm pregnant with Chris's child now. I said this while placing a hand on my belly. By the way, it's a boy, this son you always wanted. You called me a useless woman who could only have girls, didn't you? Well, I don't really care about the gender as long as the baby is healthy, and I'm certainly not going to force him to inherit any company.
This can't be happening.
Whatever you're going through now is none of our concern and has nothing to do with us. Now please leave.
Wait, at least let me get in touch with my parents. I'm their real son. If I tell them I'm in trouble, they'll help me. They supported you during the divorce, so they'll help me get alimony from Victoria. Please.
I don't know anything about that, but Jack and Susan have made it clear they don't consider you their son anymore. Like us, they don't care what happens to you.
Shut up. Just let me talk to them.
As Tom persisted, Chris spoke firmly.
If you keep this up, I'll call the police.
Whether it was from Chris's intensity or realizing he was getting nowhere, Tom stumbled off, defeated. I've heard what happened to Tom from a mutual acquaintance of his and Chris's. It seems that after all that, Tom divorced Victoria and now he's twice divorced. He tried to claim alimony, but it turned out he had also been cheating, looking for comfort elsewhere. Victoria had found evidence and used it as revenge. As a result, the alimony was mostly canceled out. The custody of their son, of course, went to Victoria, his mother. However, Tom continues to pay child support for a boy who isn't biologically his. Under American law, if you don't challenge paternity within a year of learning about a child's birth, you're legally considered the father, even if it's later discovered the child isn't yours, and you're obligated to pay child support. Above all, Tom didn't have the will to fight it.
Even though we are not related by blood, I still care about him. I wish it had been the other way around. My real daughter, who called me a stranger, I wish she had been the one who wasn't related to me. The son, who isn't mine by blood but called me dad, and the daughter who is mine by blood but treats me like a stranger. I've lost them both. My parents, my first wife, my second wife, my money, my status, everything is gone. I was supposed to be the next CEO, so how did this happen?
Tom had repeatedly said this while drowning himself in alcohol. I can only see it as him reaping what he sowed. As for Victoria, it seems her affair partner eventually abandoned her too, leaving her to raise her son on her own.
Why is Diana the CEO's wife? I was supposed to be in that position.
Apparently, Victoria often says that. I don't really care what happens to either of them, but I do feel sorry for the innocent children. I hope they can find happiness somehow. As for Tom, while I still can't forgive him, I am grateful for two things: introducing me to my wonderful in-laws and giving me a beautiful daughter.